Ladies and gentlemen, the Durham Probe Special Counsel is now investigating people linked to Hunter Biden or Hunter Biden himself. The reason is because we now have information that Hunter Biden brokered deals between companies in China and other countries. So Hunter Biden sought forever deal with China military-tied firm, emails New York Post. And this is from the Daily Beast. This is very interesting. You might not like it, but Hunter Biden's shenanigans are real news. So when the Daily Beast has admitted that the president's son engaged in almost certain pay-to-play schemes, okay, the people who were allowing Hunter Biden to broker deals, they didn't do so because of his immense intellect or his artistic ability. They did so because he was the vice president's son at the time. He left a laptop at a computer repair store that had incriminating emails that we couldn't talk about on Twitter because, interestingly enough, they broke the guidelines. But of course, the Steele dossier didn't, and the New York Post's account was suspended. Now, this is Twitter, just like the New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, pretty much every publication you could think of going to bat for the Democratic Party. Every once in a while, like this article in the Daily Beast, you will have an admission. You know what? This is a serious story, and we have to talk about it. The interesting thing about the Hunter story, or stories, is the following. They're going to impeach mashed potato brains Biden. When the House and Senate become Trump Republican, and they will become Trump Republican, and so all the morally superior liberals who look at Trump Republicans in Congress and say that person is harmful, well, they're the same people who overlook and don't care about Hunter Biden's emails, where one of the emails says, "How can you use your influence on behalf of the company?" Or 10% for the big man, or a whole bunch of incriminating emails showing pay-to-play schemes, okay? He was either selling the allure of access or actual access to the United States government. That's why when Joe Biden, after he was vice president, started boasting, okay, to a whole bunch of foreign policy professionals that he withheld $1 billion, okay? Immediately, media went into damage control. They said, oh, he was doing it for the good of Ukraine. You would have to be a complete imbecile to think that he was trying to force out a government official in another country for the benefit of that country. And even when he's telling the story, the Ukrainians said, you don't have that authority. And now they're getting invaded by Russia. But within that story itself, he is stating that they told him, you don't have that authority. And then he said, go talk to President Obama. Of course I have that authority. Okay? All of this, look, the special counsel, and I'll explain how this leads to impeachment and to an investigation of Hunter. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. We are almost at 192,000 subs, people. Please tell everybody you know, if you enjoy my work, about this channel. Not many people are talking about the Durham Probe Special Counsel and connecting the dots. There is a lawfare article on the Durham Probe Special Counsel that will be below. The article talks about how, just like Monica and the blue dress, just like Michael Cohen and Stormy and Michael Avenatti, a special counsel can go ahead and investigate anything that is somewhat related to the initial special counsel. So John Durham is tasked with investigating the people who set up and framed Trump. It is a special counsel, just like Robert Mueller's special counsel. Now, the law firm, Michael Sussman, the man who was indicted in that law firm, from that law firm, the entire law firm works for not just Clinton, but Joe and Elizabeth Warren, everybody, the entire Democratic Party is represented in one way or another. So hit subscribe to this channel, hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below in the pinned comment. I will have a live stream like I usually do, hopefully a little earlier tonight, probably around 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific. Be here for the live stream. And I'll be talking a lot about the Durham Probe today. So, because there's so much news about Hunter Biden. He's brokering deals between China and other countries. We already knew this. But there's a component of espionage to these brokered deals as well. Okay? We already have Democratic congressmen alleged to have romantic relationships with foreign operatives. So, and we have Dianne Feinstein had an operative, I think it was her driver, for years and years and years. Okay? There's a reason why Democrats almost certainly didn't want to talk about the origins of you-know-what. They were hands off. They didn't want to touch it. It was repulsive to them. They couldn't even fathom wanting to investigate the origins of you-know-what. Possibly, almost certainly, because it hurt the interests of a competitor or of another country. You can say a geopolitical competitor. I don't consider China an adversary. I don't even really consider Russia an adversary. Although I oppose what they're doing in Ukraine, but we put Ukraine in that situation by pretending we would allow Ukraine into NATO when we have no intention of allowing Ukraine into NATO, thus knowing that we're going to provoke a military response from Russia. And like I always keep saying, Ukraine asked for NATO membership, and Biden essentially denied their membership. And NATO stood quiet, all the while saying, "Oh, we'll help defend you." But when you have Trump Republicans in this House and the Senate, the impeachment is going to come within probably 7 months, 8 months, a year. They're going to focus in the same obsessive, laser-focused manner as Democrats. The difference, though, is that they're going to find things. So you have like a treasure chest or trove of emails. They couldn't find anything with Trump. They're trying to investigate January. They still haven't indicted or arrested or charged President Trump. They can't even decide on a criminal referral, which is a public relations stunt. There were criminal referrals against Clinton and Comey and a bunch of people by Republicans. It's just, it doesn't really, it's just for show. It's symbolic. But they can't even do that. Why? Well, because if you look at the exchange with Ted Cruz and a top bureau representative or a FBI representative, she could not answer the question as to how many or potential agents were there that day. So Democrats can only go so far into investigating the story before it leads to them. They had to, according to CNN, 2 Democratic operatives in 2016 were forced to resign because Veritas found out that they were fomenting violence at Trump rallies. Almost everything you see about Trump is completely fabricated by media and the Democratic Party. Does he say things that push the envelope? Sure, he does. No, that's true. But you know, the violence and all that stuff, that is, we saw in 2016 2 Democratic operatives resign, fomenting all of that stuff. And so a lot of their investigations, Democrats, a lot of their investigations eventually into Trump eventually point back to them. So they didn't find anything with the Mueller probe. They didn't indict or arrest or charge Trump. With Comey and Clinton and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper, James Comey had to say, well, there was no intent. With this situation, when you have House Republicans and Senate Republicans that are Trump, like President Trump has completely taken over the Republican Party. You have an email. You have laptops, okay? we're going to have not only a recession, devastating stock market crash that I've been talking about, 2 to 3,000 point drops in the Dow. And, I mean, we're going to have a stock market economic catastrophe from now until then. So the political momentum is going to be there. And then you have more indictments. The Durham Probe Special Counsel already indicted 3 people. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Those 3 people are linked to Hunter and Joe. And those 3 people, in addition to all the others indicted, in addition to the law firm that Sussman works for, almost certainly will have a role in impeachment proceedings and an investigation of Hunter himself from the Durham Probe. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. I'll do a lot of segments on this today. This is like huge news. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below.